UFC 235 is this weekend. And I'm about to do some quickfire predictions of the whole fucking card. Put your fucking seatbelts on. Strap in. We're going quickfire right now. Polyana Viana. 10-2 versus Hannah Cyphers, who's 8-3. I'm going to go with Polyana Viana. I really am. I've seen Hannah Cyphers fight before. I wasn't too impressed. I'll tell you that much. So I'm going to go with Polyana Viana to start things off. Marlon Vera versus Frankie Saenz. I'm going to go straight for Marlon Vera. Both these guys are pretty shit. I'll be honest with you. Both of these guys are pretty fucking shit. But I feel like Frankie Saenz, momentum is not on his side. And I think this is the fight that's going to lose him his UFC status. I think he's going to get cut after this fight. And I think Marlon Vera is probably going to win this fight. 100%. Probably. 51%. 110%. Gina Mazzani versus Macy Chiasson. I'm going to go with Macy Chiasson. Ultimate Fighter winner of the last season. Tough 28. Of course, the heavy hitters at women's bantamweight. That's pretty weird because she fought a featherweight in the tough finale. So I guess all of these people are just avoiding Chris Cyborg at all costs. Because as you know, in the women's featherweight division, your debut is against Chris Cyborg. So why would she want to fight a featherweight? She's moved down to bantamweight. I think she's going to have a good bit of size. I think she's going to keep her undefeated record of 3-0, which just isn't fucking impressive whatsoever. And I think she's going to beat Gina Mazzani. I do like Gina Mazzani's purple hair, though. It looks real nice. Edmund Shajabajajan versus Charles Bird. I'm going to go with Edmund Shajabajan, a Tuesday Night Contender Series alumni. Fought very well in his Tuesday Night Contender Series fight. Earned himself the contract. He's 8-0 in the organisation. Not in the organisation. Just in MMA in general. And Charles Bird, obviously, he's a good fighter, but I just don't see anything amazing about him. I think he's going to look to wrestle, but I think Edmund is just a real good fucking wrestler in general. Wrestling's his game. So I think this is going to be a striking match, and I think Edmund's going to have the advantage. I really do. Also, I believe, if I'm correct in saying this, Edmund Shajabajajan recently beat Darren Stewart, who Charles Bird lost to by KO in the second round to that brutal elbow. Edmund Shajabajajan was able to take Darren Stewart down for the entire fucking fight. Charles Bird wasn't able to take Darren Stewart down kind of whatsoever. So I'm going to go with Edmund Shajabajajan. Whatever his fucking second name is. There's too many Z's and Y's. I don't like it. I don't like that second name. He needs to change that immediately. Prelims. Diego Sanchez versus Mickey Gore. I'm going to go with Mickey Gore. I don't see Diego getting submitted here, but I just think Mickey Gore's a bigger guy. They're fighting at welterweight, which is bad for Diego Sanchez. I feel like Diego Sanchez is more... I honestly feel like he is a 155er, but I just don't think he cuts weight the same as other people do with the nutritionist and shit like that. I think he'd be good at 165. I think Mickey Gore's going to be the bigger welterweight here. Young guy, coming off a win. Very impressive first round finish. He's been shot to the wolves early. Imagine your pro debut, almost. Your first few fights, and you're fighting UFC caliber opponents. 5-1's a nice record, in my opinion. And I think Diego Sanchez, as much as I respect you, and as much as I love to watch you fight, goodbye. We'll see you in Bellator. You've had a nice career so far. I just feel like now it's the changing of guard. Mickey Gore's probably going to take him down, take his back, and probably get a rear naked choke. That's a lot to ask when you're fighting Diego Sanchez, because your best bet is to stay on the feet and try and knock out that glass chin. But I don't think Mickey Gore has the stand-up skills available to him to do something like that. So I think he's going to look for the submission. I do think he's going to get it just because he outsizes Diego. We shall see. Cody Stamann versus Alejandro Perez. I'm going to go with Cody Stamann. I really am going to go with Cody Stamann. I just feel like he lost his last fight to submission against Aljamain Sterling. It was kind of a back-and-forth wrestling match. Aljamain Sterling ended up sinking in the submission. Remember, it was the banana split. The same night that Zabit got the same submission straight after, if you remember. So I'm going to go with Cody Stamann. I think he's going to bounce back from his loss and beat Alejandro Perez, who I think is a bit more of a journeyman in the decision. Misha Serkinov versus Johnny Walker. I'm going Johnny Walker. I think he's going to knock him out in the first round. First ever exchange. Misha Serkinov is known to get knocked out. Obviously, Volkan Ozdemir dropped him with a shot behind the ear. Put him out cold. I feel like Johnny Walker on short notice. He took no damage in his last fight. So he's basically had a double camp leading up to this fight. I feel like Johnny Walker's going to get the KO. I think he's the real deal. He's a fucking big light heavyweight as well. And Misha Serkinov isn't the biggest of guys. I think Johnny Walker's going to KO him in the first round. Featherweight. Jeremy Stephens versus Zabit Magomedsharipov. Okay. I said in my video Jeremy Stephens was going to win. And I hold that opinion. Zabit Magomedsharipov, he's a great guy. But who's he beat? Brandon Davis? Kyle Bochniak? A list of other unranked fighters that are coming off of losses? Brandon Davis is 1-3 in the UFC now. And he came in on short notice and put up a bit of a fight to Zabit. Kyle Bochniak is about, I think he's 2-4 in the UFC. And Zabit beat him as well. I understand they can't get him fights, but I think jumping him straight up to Jeremy Stephens makes a career of beating the young, hungry up-and-comers. That's been his career. He's the old guy who knocks out the up-and-comers. Doo Hoo Choi, for example. Josh Emmett, for example. I feel like Jeremy Stephens is going to chop away at the leg like he does against the calf. It's a hole I've noticed in Zabit's game. He doesn't really check leg kicks too well. Brandon Davis was able to land some good leg kicks on him on short notice, and that's Brandon Davis. Brandon Davis could easily make bantamweight, in my opinion. Zabit's going to be the bigger guy, but I feel like Jeremy Stephens is going to chop away at the leg kick. Zabit's going to be thinking about the legs. Jeremy Stephens is going to catch him on the chin. Hate on me all you want, Zabit fans. I know you're gonna. I know you're typing that comment right fucking now. How dare you? Zabit's beat no one in the top 15 and he's the best in the division. Good argument. Good fucking argument. Cody Garbrandt versus Pedro Munoz. I did a video on this as well. Check that shit out right fucking now. And then come back to this video. Thank you very much. Cody Garbrandt is going to win by late stoppage. Or he's going to win by decision. But I have an image in my head, guys. Of Pedro Munoz fucking tagging that glass chin of Garbrandt and knocking him out cold. However you feel about what I'm saying there, choose either one. It's kind of 50-50 in my opinion. Pedro Munoz is savage. Other than some split decision losses to Jimmy Rivera in his very early UFC career, and also a split decision loss to John Dodson, which I thought he won, if I'm honest with you. The guys beat the who's who of the division. So yeah, he's obviously coming off a win over Brian Caraway, a TKO to the body. So I'm going to give it to Cody Garbrandt. But don't be surprised if Cody Nochin Garbrandt gets knocked out. Because Team Alpha Male is just falling off right now. They are just losing all of their fighters that are in the UFC. Anyway, Tisha Torres versus Weili Zhang. Who cares? Who cares? I'm going to go for Weili Zhang. She's 18-1. She's a savage from Asia. I don't want to guess whereabouts from Asia. Probably Japan. Zhang is a Japanese name. Am I correct? Let me find out. Alright, she's Chinese. I'm racist. There we go. That's what we found out. I am racist. There we go. Robbie Lawler versus Ben Askren. I'm going to go with Ben Askren. I wouldn't mind Robbie Lawler as a pick for this one. But he's coming off an ACL surgery on his knee. He's coming back. He's recently had this surgery. And the last thing you want when you have your fucking knee blown out is to be trying to sprawl takedowns from one of the best wrestlers, arguably, to do it, in Ben Askren. 18-0. The funky one makes his appearance in the UFC. Finally, after all this time, I think he's going to beat Robbie Lawler. I really do. I think Robbie Lawler's kind of had it. I like Robbie Lawler. I loved him during his reign. There's a chance he knocks Ben Askren out because Ben Askren cannot strike whatsoever. But I feel like Ben Askren's just going to drag him to the mat and control the fight against the cage for the whole fucking distance. I'll go Ben Askren by decision. Tyron Woodley versus Kamaru Usman. I'm going with Woodley by decision. I think their wrestling is going to negate each other's out. And I think neither guy's going to have success with wrestling in this fight. I think Woodley's the better wrestler defensively. I think Usman's the bigger guy. But I think Woodley's going to KO. I don't think he's going to KO him. I think he's going to drop Usman a few times. Maybe once. And then sort of coast a decision. Backing up to the fence. Landing shots when he needs to. And I think Usman's just going to be stuck trying to take him down. And it's just not going to work. And then sometimes... I mean, this is going to be a stand-up fight. Where Usman's trying to take Woodley down. And Woodley won't let him. In my opinion. And I think if it's a stand-up fight... Woodley has the fucking severe advantage over Usman. And I think Usman's going to get caught with something as he's coming in against a cage. He's going to get dropped with a big overhand from Woodley, I feel. And that's going to be enough to get Woodley the decision. Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith. I have to say Jon Jones because he's the best fighter in the world. Steroids or not, I guess no one gives a shit about steroids anymore. I guess everyone's just allowed to take steroids. However you feel about the steroid situation, whether he took them or not, I don't really give a shit. He's still Jon Jones. I think even without that picogram, he'd beat everyone in the division. So I really don't even give a shit about the situation. Anthony Smith, he has one chance in this fight. And that chance is to come out all guns blazing in the first round and just pray that one of his shots lands on Jones's chin and he knocks him out. I've put money down on Anthony Smith. I don't know how much I'm due to make, but it's a lot off of £20. And I hope Smith wins because I've got money on it. But I also think Jones is going to win. I think he's going to be able to halt the fucking forward pressure of Anthony Smith. He's going to use the elliptical kick on the knee to sort of make Anthony Smith kind of second guess his advancements. He's got like a 10-inch fucking reach advantage, which is crazy because they're the same height. I mean, that's just black people arms, I guess. The same thing, Woodley had the same reach as Darren Till. It's just black people, man. They have long fucking arms. Savages. I think Jon Jones is going to win. I think he's going to get a finish as well. Maybe in the 3rd or 4th round. But I'm rooting for Anthony Smith because I have money riding on him. Come on, Smith. Do what can't be done. Beat the Holy One, Jon Jones. Also, can Jon Jones... I've seen the countdown. Please stop acting religious. You're a cunt. Please stop acting like everything you do is in God's name. And reciting Bible verses. You're a cocaine sniffing, steroid taking, hooker sexing... hooker fucking, pregnant lady crashing, married man, all while the rest of that's going on. You're married with kids, and all of this shit is going on around you. Very religious. Thou shalt not sin, Jon Jones, and you have sinned, my friend. Let's pray for Jon Jones. Hopefully he gets let into heaven. I fucking doubt it. There's going to be cocaine and hookers waiting for him in hell. Let's go, Smith! But Jon Jones is going to win, though, for real. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe?